This is your BOMM Wednesday service, my nigga. We made it.
I told y'all these drinks was gonna work. I told y'all.
Listen.
Oh, you got one.
I was scared. No, I had to because
finally got one.
I usually have one. I just have it off camera.
I was seeing you sip it though.
Okay, that might be valid. I knew I was shook. Obviously, I've been emphasizing the danger in Trump getting elected to a second term since he was elected to the first term. But I didn't realize how I was emotionally holding my breath until Biden did his address Friday night. Not even the victory speech, but the address Friday night in a very calm, measured, soothing tone. And I was just like, whew, thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
I wasn't worried.
Because y'all niggas had me concerned.
I wasn't.
I was worried.
I wasn't.
Let me put it this way. I was trying not to be worried, but I had too much trauma from 2016 to be confident. I'll put it that way. I think that's a better way to put it.
I was 2016 taught me to always look at this as a marathon. And while, at a 2-person watch party, drinking wine all night, eating pasta, and playing Jodeci and dancing and laughing and giggling.
That don't sound like a watch party player.
Listen, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all.
No parts of that sound like a watch party at all.
Wasn't that,
not the kind of watch party we talk about anyway.
Listen, it was the complete opposite of that kind of watch party. But listen, I literally, there's a Bible verse that I quote every day. And it's about, you can't pray and also be anxious and worried
at the same time. Yeah.
So that is one of my mantras for life. It is one of the reasons why I live a stress-free life and literally do not worry about anything. And anytime something comes up in my life where I'm concerned, I take a step back, remember that, and I let it go. And I was just I did everything I could do.
That's true. But I mean, it's still, and I get you. And
100% let it go.
So I'm a person of faith too, and my favorite scripture is similar of sorts to it, but it relates to your "it's a marathon, not a sprint" philosophy, which is, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and called according to their purpose. And that's usually what I lean on when shit ain't going my way, because I'll be like, even if I don't see the good in it, good's gonna come of it. And I'll be honest, during this administration, the Trump administration, for the first time I really understood how, and we didn't even go through a quarter of the shit they faced, but I finally understood how our ancestors had joy in the midst of oppression and had hope in the midst of oppression. Because I kind of got to a point where it was I had to kind of get here when RGB died. All right, well, if I don't see the other side, at least I can still work towards them getting to the other side. I had to make peace with that. That whole I may not get there with you mentality, right? That was the point. Listen, that was the point where I had to get there. I may not get there with you, but
Moses.
But on Saturday night, I cried more Saturday night.
I was drunk all day Saturday.
Yeah, I know you called me.
I did?
I cried. You did call me, yes.
I don't remember.
You called me and told me to get some dick. You sure did. You absolutely did.
Sounds about right.
You did.
Remember it at all.
Yep, you did. So, but on Saturday, I cried more than I did during Obama's victory speech, because I never questioned that Obama would win. But I realized I was so afraid that it was going to be years and years and years before we heard compassion and humanity and warmth and light and jokes and saw love and coherence and coming from the presidential platform. Like, there was so many little things that happened Saturday night where I was like, I miss seeing people who look like they actually fuck with each other. I miss seeing the two families that look like they rock together. I miss seeing little kids running around on it. You know what I mean? Like, little shit. Like, we got two dogs in the White House again for the first time. Like, we ain't had no pets, bro. We ain't had no first pets. Those things, I miss all of that.
It wasn't even that. It is that we had nothing to lose in 08 and 2012. Right. Like, we were playing with house money. We were just happy that, like, Obama got there. And it was like, if he lose, but if he win, it's like, yo, this is something. And then by 2012, it was just like, I don't think Mitt Romney going to be the one to pull this off. This was like, yo, like, we can't lose.
Bro, like, if we lose,
we could go on a run of, like, losses that can last.
Trump's behavior right now just confirms for me that had we lost this, we would not have seen another free election in who knows when. This just confirms this for me.
It wasn't even about, like, a free election. It was about that if he would have won, who do you have in the depth chart to throw up there for an 8 and 12 years later that can combat not him, but what the opposition has now turned into, and that the new rules of engagement.
And that too.
Because it was
but like those new rules of engagement, imagine how much they would have been amplified. You know what I mean? By that point, like,
it was like, it's not so much if we don't, that one side doesn't have, you know, capable people for the office, is that there's nobody on this side who was willing to get that dirty.
Right, we don't play the same.
Yeah, like, to defeat that side. So else it's like we had to get this W, and that point leads me to my outfit for tonight, because I had to bring this Spellman jersey back out in honor. Oh, because you know how we do.
In honor of Stacey Abrams.
Down in the West End. So this uniform is dedicated to two women. This is dedicated to sister Stacey Abrams, who I was there in 2018 in Atlanta when she got her
when Brian Kemp stolen.
And at 1:17 a.m., I would never forget, while still at the hotel, she gave that speech. And it was not a concession speech. And then, you know, later in the week or so, she gave another one. But that first one that night, like, I hadn't been in a room and felt a speech like that at that late of an hour. That, like, I knew Stacey Abrams was the truth before 2018, and I knew she was the truth during the whole campaign. But, like, that night, like, I tell people the story, I was like, it was 1:17 a.m. I'll never forget where I was standing, what time it was when she started talking. And I was like, oh shit. Like, this is it. It's like how some people felt in 2004 when Obama spoke at the DNC.
At the DNC?
And I was like, oh, this is it. And I remember writing this column in 2019 that I reposted the last couple of days. And the headline was, we need Stacey Abrams more than she needs us. Yeah. And I remember sending it to the politics editor, and it didn't really do anything with page views. Because, like, he didn't get it. I don't think a lot of people got it. They understood. And so I brought it back, and people were just like, how did you know? And I went back and reread it. And I think I ended it by saying, like, I don't know what she's going to do next, but I know she's going to do something that has this huge impact on people. And then, lo and behold, it happened. And people were just like, how did you nail that over a year ago? And I was just like,
because you can see
coming.
But also, you can see leadership in her. I think we've gotten so brainwashed with. I shouldn't say brainwashed because it's a real word these days. But we've gotten so enamored with cult of personality, which is how we got Trump, right? And you know, we've moved out of the information age into the influence age, and we have conflated influence and leadership. And when you see real leadership, Stacey Abrams is fucking leadership. You know what I mean? Obama was leadership.
And
Even
it
though people be
wasn't-
like, he's too measured, he's too this, he doesn't take enough credit. I'd be like, that's leadership. Like, taking credit for everything isn't leadership. Being loud and hyper visible isn't necessarily leadership. Like, those, like, the work, like, the proof of leadership is work. And Stacey's entire everything through the gubernatorial campaign, I was like, this is leadership, confident leadership, right? And leadership that inspires people to work with her and for her, which is what you need. You need coalition building. That's what Stacey Abrams is capable of, because people trust her.
And it wasn't even that. During that whole run 2 years ago, the thing that fascinated me the most about it, as I kept saying to people, and like you nailed with all the leadership points, but I was like, she's doing this as a woman that we have been told isn't supposed to look like this while doing this. And I was like, that was the most intriguing thing to me, because I was like, no, like, for hundreds and hundreds of years, y'all have told us what a politician is supposed to look like. And y'all have specifically told us what a female politician was supposed to look like. Right. And even as, like, Kamala was rising, like, she is the complete opposite. But if you put them in a room and you close your eyes, you don't know who is who if you didn't know who either of them was coming in, had never seen them before. And I was just like, she is breaking every stereotype that has ever been crafted or molded about what women in politics are supposed to be and be presented as. And that was the thing.
Yeah, because isn't she even like a romance writer on the low? Like, I find Stacey fascinating.
Yes, all of that. And also shout out to my homie, Jackie Palmer. She was advanced lead on the Kamala Biden ticket, like the only black female on the press lead side. So, and she's been running around. That was one of my contacts. Like, yo, what's going on? There's something coming today. For the last couple months ago. So yeah, Spellman held it down. So
shout out to HBCUs. I'm hoping that.
Shout out to house.
Yeah, I'm hoping that y'all always gotta get a fucking Morehouse shout out in there. Anyway, I'm hoping that we can now have real conversations in mainstream media about the importance of HBCUs, the fact that more than like 2 or 3 of them exist. You know, the majority of Black folks in Congress, and also about Black Greeks. The majority of Black folks in Congress are Greek, by the way. So like those, we need to have like I know what the skull and crossbones from Yale is, right? Like, why y'all act like y'all know what a ski weed? Like, why is it that hard to understand Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority?
We know why.
Incorporate.
But we know
why. We 100% know why. And to that end, I want to say shout out to Brian Williams on MSNBC, who did all his homework. Because Brian, first of all, I'm glad that Brian had a second life, because I missed him when he got canceled for like 10 seconds because I fuck with him. But Brian first said early on Saturday, there is going to be no living with a Howard University Bison or a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha from here on out. Then second, later on, he was talking to Jim Clyburn and started talking about the Clyburn family fish fry. And I was like, what y'all ain't reading? And Brian Williams been in there talking about that. Brian up here talking about fish fries and Greeks and Bisons and all of that.
Look.
Great.
When you're on your last strike, you make sure you do all your homework. But you've been out here telling the stories about like how you some damn war hero escaping firefights and shit, and it didn't really happen. Yeah, player, you can't mess up no more, Brian Williams. Can't do it.
I mean, Brian was always good with me. I hated that he felt like he needed to do that, but I always had love for Brian. Brian was always good with me.
Look,
Allison is good. And Allison is good with me too, even though she played a scary ass, racist ass white girl. She good with me too. A
little too well.
For those who don't know, Allison Williams from Get Out is Brian Williams' daughter.
Yeah.
Before we go any deeper, because I want to give some more positive shout outs, but then me and Carron about to
get with the shits.
Yo, we about to load this shit up. Like, we've been holding back. We've been holding some in the clip. I'm glad held Van Jones in the clip. Because now is the time. But before I do all of that, Let me do the church announcements, aka the housekeeping, aka the shit that pays the bills around cheer, because we are part of the BOMM family, which is part of the Count the Dings family. And there is a wide array of programming that is available to you across our platforms that covers everything that you could possibly want, any kind of interest, any kind of demographic. Whatever you need, we got it. So on the Count the Ding side, I've been really shouting out the BOMM side heavy, because I'm gonna be real, like, we're the black side. The Count the Ding side is like more like the mainstream white side, but they cool though. It's still black people over there. But like, you know, you got your dad pod, you got your cinephile pod, you got your Pack Your Knives pod. But on the BOMM side, every day of the week, we got something for you. So on Monday, we got Crazy Sexy Cool, three fly-ass millennial women.
December 14th. Someone will be a special guest on that episode.
You reached out? You made it happen?
I'm a little scared.
Can you behave, please? Can you not embarrass me?
I'm a little scared because I'm like, look.
I just need you to remember you're representing me.
It's my birthday weekend, so
I just need you to remember.
Wherever the conversation goes, I'm willing to go.
I just need you to remember that don't embarrass me. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask for nothing.
No,
don't break nothing.
I'm not.
I'm
a great house guest.
I'm concerned. Anyway, so look out for Carron on December 14th with the ladies from Crazy Sexy Cool. On Tuesdays, you got the OGs on the BOMM podcast. On Wednesdays, you have us. On Thursdays, you got Wozni breaking it down. I'm interested to see where they go this week. My guess, if I had to guess, is going to be that they're going to talk about Trump trying to pull all kinds of stunts and shenanigans to act like the election valid. Right. And on Friday, we got Trey and his array of amazing, but apparently secret guests on Growing Up the Same. So yeah, and if none of that appeals to you, or if all of that appeals to you and you want more, there is yet another segment of exclusive content that you can get by being one of our Patreons at countthedings.com. Or patreon.com, Count the Dings. Yeah, that. Patreon.com, Count the Dings. Okay.
Why should they be a Patreon and who shouldn't they give their money to? Because we know who was about to start some BS after this election.
You know Sean's about to start some bullshit. Don't give your money to Sean King, ladies and gentlemen. And
stop giving your money to that white man.
Stop giving your money to Sean King. But we're going to put Sean King on pause for just a second. Because we need to talk about... No, let's get some more congratulations out of the way first. Here's what I want to shout out real quick. Let's stay on the positive and then go. I want to shout out Simone D. Sanders, who started out with the Bernie campaign, switched over to the Biden campaign, worked her ass off. She deserves...
Business move.
Yes, exactly. I feel like she was left out of a lot of conversations when people were shouting out other Black women who were organizing to make sure the votes were delivered. But shout out to you, Simone, doing the work behind the scenes. She's young, too. Like, Simone, I think, might have just turned
12. She's like 12.
Yeah, she's really young. I was surprised when I realized how young she was. So shout out to Simone Sanders. We already shouted out Stacey Abrams. Obviously, shout out to my soror, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Shout out to everybody who is doing the damn thing down there in the South. And to the fact that I had an argument with a Bernie supporter on Wednesday. Because Sean's dumbass and some of them were talking about Bernie would have won. No, the fuck he wouldn't have. No, the fuck. Bernie Sanders wouldn't have won shit. Let me tell you why Bernie Sanders wouldn't have won. Because both years, 2016 and this year, after 2016, one of Bernie's biggest problems was the Black vote in the South. He only garnered 14% of the Black vote in the South. And the Black voters said, we don't know him. We know them Clintons. We know them. We know them for 30 years. Mm-hmm. We don't know him. And in 20, what does nigga do? He ignored the Southern vote, the Southern Black vote again. What delivered Biden the presidency?
Really give a fuck about Black people.
But that is Biden won.
Readily apparent if you just pay attention.
But I think what's important to note is that Biden won this shit because of Black people. Every county that tipped any battleground state over What are black folks? Shout out to Clayton County in Georgia. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Philly. It was the black people, and it all got kicked off though with Clyburn giving him the South and giving him South Carolina in the primaries by endorsing him. So ignore black voters at your peril. Play about your black cousins and their voting habits at your peril. Like, they are the core of the Democratic vote. Well, but they fuck with who they fuck with. That's what you need to understand.
And you bringing up Simone makes a funny point, because it was just like, if you paid attention to Bernie not paying attention to black folks, remember that whole situation about what she experienced on that campaign? And then Bernie was like, I had no idea she experienced racism on campaign. It was just like, damn, if you don't even know this happened to your own people that are that high, also, lets me know you don't know about black people, period. And also, listen, if you've lived in Atlanta, once they said, oh, this is coming out of Clayton County, I was like, oh, this is over. Like, if you know anything about Clayton County, Georgia, that is the black, listen, there are levels to... You often hear so much about the east side of Atlanta and the west side. East side is Zone 6. That's Gucci Man. That's 21 Savage. All in west side. That's T.I. That's Bankhead. To all of them. Clayton County, though? Yeah. Clayco, that's where it really, really goes down. Shout out to Terra Boulevard. So, yeah, once I knew they was down in black-ass Clayton County, I was like, oh, this is a wrap. Like, they have nothing to worry about, because Clayco is not about them games, ever.
So we do still have work to do for Florida. I know everybody has election fatigue at this point.
But I think these Senate runoffs in Georgia.
We got the Senate runoffs in Georgia. Did I say Florida? I meant Georgia. We got the Senate runoffs in Georgia coming up in January that... they've raised a shit ton of money, but we need money. We need messaging. We need awareness. They need money. Also, there is a possibility that Georgia might still need vote counters for the region. I know a couple of people who went down there. I don't really know what that process is, so don't quote me on that. But my commitment, which has been my commitment over the past 4 years, but I'm doubling down and moving forward, is paying more attention to not only my own local elections, but to local elections that are going on around the country to see where I can lend efforts. Because a lot of times and by we, I mean y'all niggas who've been getting on my nerves this whole year, blame the president for that is about your governor, right? You be like, my neighborhood don't have... My city don't have, my county don't have, nigga, your mayor, your governor, your assembly people, your state senate reps,
your mayors,
your Congress, call them niggas. That's actually legitimately what they're there for. And your city council.
Have you watched the mayoral debates in your city?
Your city council person might give you their fucking cell phone number. That's how local that shit is. And what happens is you build relationships with them, you pass it on to them, they pass it on one step up, who passes it on one step up.
But you got to stay on them. Or you go to a city council meeting.
Or you go to it so that you know what the fuck is going on. Or you can run for city council. How about that? Like, you can also do that. So
you can read.
Or you can read, but niggas ain't gonna read. So fuck it, run for office. So it's like, but yeah, you need to, like, the local judges, right? The local judges, which are elected, the school board officials, which are elected. In some places, yes, sanitation officials are elected. Not in New York City, but in almost every place else, your sheriff is elected. So one thing to note is that in Georgia and a couple of other states in the South, sheriffs who ran on a campaign to not fuck with ICE won. Right? And like in Georgia, I want to say 2 black sheriffs replaced 2 white sheriffs in 2 of the counties that like a huge amount of cooperation with ICE. That's a local election. That is down ballot. That shit makes a difference.
Also, the mayor is the person who picks the police chief most of the time. It's like a sports reference. If a sports team gets a brand new GM, it's like clockwork. They're going to bring in their own head coach. If you get a new mayor, pretty soon they're about to bring in their own police chief. Unless y'all just got a really good police chief, which we know probably ain't happening.
Right. So I really want to encourage everybody as we keep talking about how do we make sure the things that we were promised by Biden and Harris's, by the way, very thorough plan for Black America, despite all the motherfuckers who wanted to argue with me because
are you saying it was better than the
so much better than the platinum plan? Even though Negroes wanted to argue that because some of the things impacted more people than just Black people, it didn't count because God forbid we not be the only motherfuckers who benefit from whatever the fuck. It's not like it doesn't benefit us. It was like the argument wasn't that doesn't benefit us. It benefits us and other minorities. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now, right? Like, seriously? Anyway. So as people are asking, what do we do to make sure these things happen? You stay on your local electeds next. Those are people you can reach. You can call below on the phone, shorty.
No, that's not, like, no, you have to simplify. You have to just tell them.
All right.
We want. Take a couple weeks to celebrate, drink, do what I told Naima to do on Saturday, which I didn't even remember I told her to do. Enjoy it. And then about December, get right back focused because there's this runoff in Georgia. Like this,
runoff in Georgia, and then we go in the midterms.
To take a breath and a time out and then get back to work because the Biden and Harris were not the answer. Biden and Harris were the self-made tourniquet you made for yourself until you can get to the emergency room to actually fix it.
Exactly. They were the opportunity for us to stop, like you said, stop the hemorrhaging so that we actually do have a chance to fix it. They're not the fix. They're the opportunity to fix. That's why we need
the Senate flip blue so that you have the House, the Senate, and the White House
and
blue
so that
you can undo all
so that Mitch McConnell
BS
can get the fuck on. And also, I want to point out that historically, after big Dem turnouts, we get lazy.
Yep.
You can blame Dem messaging, which has always been bad, but it's also we get lazy and we immediately lose the House and Senate in the midterms. It happened in the first. It happened in the first midterms after Clinton, and it happened in the first midterms after Obama. Which, like, I think so often about how that could have been different. But
no, it's a political fact that, and it's true for both parties. If your party wins the presidency, you can pretty much bank on it that in the midterms, the opposite side is going to win because they're pissed off from 2 years before, and they keep that same energy. So you see that back and forth from both parties because human nature allows people to let down and think everything's okay when the other side has just been seething.
Like, fuck that shit. Yeah. But I'm saying this time we got to stay. To keep that same energy really is the energy that we've had all year. Like, we motherfucking made it. I was still very appalled at how many people voted for voted for his ass.
I was not at all. I saw it.
But I didn't say surprised, I said appalled. But we fucking made it. We got snatched from the fucking jaws of darkness. I really don't think y'all understand. I was like, whoo, that was close. Whoo, Jesus, that was close. That was close. Like, I felt it. I felt the heat. I felt the flames on my face.
It wasn't close at all.
Right. But no, I mean it was close, meaning like we almost lost it all. But yeah, we gotta keep that same energy. So now,
are you ready?
Speaking of keep that same energy.
Wait. But first, before we get to him, can I get to the person I want to get to before we get to
the floor is yours.
I want to dedicate this to Mark Lamont Hill, who I've had blocked on all social media and have been screaming, fuck Lamar Hill since 2016. Given that this man told us publicly that we could afford to lose an election before the 2016 presidential election. This man said this.
We can afford to lose one. I asked him about that, by the way, a month ago.
And
never walked it back. Never walked it even now.
So this message is to all the people who think he's cool, to all the people who thinks he's a good guy, to all the people who thinks he's intelligent and all of these things and book him for TV appearances or even follow him. I want you all to now realize how dumb this motherfucker is. And this is why I say to people all the time, call me elitist if you want to. This is why you don't listen to Morehouse Dropouts. because they don't know what the fuck they be talking.
Wow. I didn't even know that. So I asked Mark about that like a month ago because I too have been talking cold shit about Mark Lamont Hill since he said that. Pretty much anything Mark said, I'd be like,
walk back, people.
Okay. But the thing is that he's not even acknowledged it. So I asked him, I was like, you know what? Because he started following me. I did not have him blocked, but we weren't following each other. He started following me. I was like, you know what, Mark? I was about to say on the timeline, but I figured I'd DM you. But I was like, I said, I really have a problem with, I really can't let go of you saying we could afford to lose one election. And the fact that you have never yet said anything publicly about the fact that that shit was wrong. I said, and the fact that I don't think you ever would have even said it if you hadn't been so arrogant as to just assume Hillary was going to win. And I said, you and everybody else who's saying dumb shit like that. And he says that he regrets saying it. But he also said that the clip was taken out of context and nobody ever included the fact that he said, but we have to make sure Trump loses by any means necessary and the work he was doing and the blah 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 blah. But I'm just like, that shit was so irresponsible.
It wasn't. It was so irresponsible. This is the issue why I said what I said. That is the classic example of someone who is simple-minded and does not understand complex things.
Or just wants to be contrarian. That was that contrarianism shit. Motherfuckers was getting checks off of contrarianism. And Mark was setting himself up to be the anti-Hillary Clinton and get checks off of that for the duration of the campaign. I mean, for the duration of her term. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. And how's that working out for you now?
Disagreeing with shit. Don't make y'all. We need to have a conversation too. Disagreeing with shit that like a large majority of people think, having a quote unquote unpopular opinion does not mean you're smarter. Actually, it's also not a personality trait. Contrarianism is not the same thing as critical thinking. Critical thinking is critical thinking. They're not the same.
And I say that as a person that usually has different opinions, but if you ask me, first of all, I never run from the questions, and when people try to charge me up, once I say my piece on it, they might be like, I don't agree with you, but that makes sense. Like, you've done the reading, you've thought about this. I'm not on your side, player, but I get I see how you can see that. It's not just some off the wall, like, no, I just want to be different to be different. It's like, no, here are some factual things that have led me to this opinion. And then people, okay, I get you. I feel you.
And when it comes to politics and civics, we are, as Americans, sorely unprepared to really have real conversations about political process and impact and, strategy and all that shit, to be frank. Because we really mostly only understand things on a very surface level. But to that end,
let's get to the greatest fuck boy on the planet.
So, fuck Van Jones, be like, for real. Like, just fuck his purple tie because he don't want to choose red or blue. Wearing ass. I've been a radical. I've been a moderate. Now I'm right leaning ass. Good people on both sides ass. We need to come to nigga. Fuck you. Fuck them crowd ass tears that you went viral for, talking about how it'll be easier to be a parent to your kids again. While you been kikiing and the ha-haing and the elbow rubbing and the shoulder brushing and the, hors d'oeuvre eating up in the White House.
Selfie taking
and posting. The shit ain't even slick. That's the thing. I'm not even saying the niggas hiding it. It's y'all's fault for paying attention to it. Selfie taking, picture posting of all these niggas up in the fucking White House.
You forgot some more. You forgot about the organization he's in control of with Jay-Z and some other owners of the NFL to inspire change. But hey, y'all, I keep asking y'all about the NFL and Jay-Z. What have we seen from the NFL yet, people? Because Van Jones said change was coming.
Van Jones said that Van Jones went to the Conservative Political Action Conference and told these motherfuckers that the conservative right was leading in criminal justice reform and that they needed to take credit for how smart they were being about it and for being right about it. Van Jones went on CNN and praised Trump's criminal reform, whatever the fuck that shit is, crime bill, reform program, whatever, without disclosing that he helped write that bitch, and it was still trash. Van Jones
got outed by Trump.
Then got outed by Trump about it. Van Jones just 2 weeks ago said that Trump doesn't get enough credit for the shit he's done for black people. So here's my thing with Van Jones, and I need people to understand this. I've probably said this on here before. I so much have a problem with black people who vote Republican. I'm a side-eye you. I'm a probably think you're a sellout. I may not say it out loud, but I'm a probably think it.
Those are the of Naima Cochrane and not Carron Phillips, because if you are a black Republican, I am about this close and slap you in the face.
Well, being a black Republican in 2020 is a very different thing, though, right? My problem is being, but my problem is being a black Trump supporter of any kind. It's not a flat out black Trump supporter, being someone black who will not actually completely deny and condemn Trump's behavior. That's just as bad. And Van has not only supported this motherfucker, refused to deny and condemn his behavior, but has also tried to sell us on Trump. And to me, that's the ultimate cardinal sin. That is why Wayne's ass can get left behind. His girlfriend already broke up with him. Kanye been left behind. Cube can get left behind.
No,
I ain't even know who the fuck Lil Pump was, so I really don't give a fuck about that nigga. Polo the Dime can get left behind. All these motherfuckers can get thrown off the boat. That's fine. Let them stay where they at, whatever. But the cardinal sin to me is trying to sell us on this motherfucker who means us no good. And what happened is, in the beginning of the administration, they tried it with the last election. In the beginning of administration, they were trying to do it with black pastors. They realized black pastors weren't going to cut it. So then they started going to, people like Van and then to the rappers, but was feeding them the same fucking talking points.
You forgot one right at the beginning.
Whom?
And I still have middle fingers for all of them. All the dumbass HBCU presidents that went up to the Oval and took that.
Oh, them niggas picture. Too.
Yeah,
I blame Omarosa for that shit too. Omarosa, your bitch ass. We already ain't really fuck with you. Yeah. So Van, honestly, I got on my fuck Van Jones shirt now. First of all, your name is like Travis or some shit. His name ain't even Van. I don't even know where that nickname came from. But anyway, I got on my fuck Van Jones shirt now. I'm riding on this.
Whatever.
And a lot of other people are too, whether they publicly or not. But Van, we coming for your ass, nigga. You not coming back. You not coming back. Fuck that.
We put you on the Summer Jam screen.
On the Summer Jam
we
screen.
We gonna get you Sean King treatment on this podcast. Here on out.
Legit. Like you in the club now, bruh. What you got, Carron?
Look, a couple of months ago, my former boss and one of my mentors, she called me.
Sorry, his name is Anthony. How you get Van from Anthony? What the fuck? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And I was like, hello? And she didn't get to say hello. She just said, Carron, what the fuck is up with Van Jones? No hello. This is
right.
How the conversation started. And I fell out laughing and I said something to her. And as soon as I said it, she was like, what? And she turned and told her husband what I said. And her husband in the background was like, he ain't lying. And I'm going to preface this by saying, this isn't a blanket statement because I know some people where this is not true. But the overwhelming majority is on the no, and this applies to Van Jones. And what I told her was, never fully trust black men who marry white women.
So...
And she was like, what? And then she turned her husband. He was like, yeah. And I was like, again, It is not
All
a
right.
blanket statement.
Black men who marry white women.
It is not a blanket statement, but the overwhelming majority. Yeah, once you think about it, you sit on that.
I'm not going.
Sit on it, and then
the opinions of Carron Phillips
keep going through your head, and you gonna be like,
I do.
I'm starting to see.
Are you specifically saying white women and not just non-black women? Those are two different things.
White women.
I'm not gonna touch. I'm gonna just let that sit over there with you. I'm not gonna pick that up.
Let it sit, because once
I'm not gonna pick that up.
The math, it is an uncomfortable truth that no one really wants to talk about. The overwhelming majority of dudes who look like me, who and I'm not saying if you came from a mixed race background, I'm just saying you just straight up pure, and you just decided you was gonna go play in the snow like that. Listen, the overwhelming majority, there are some tendencies. There are some Van Jones-like tendencies there, and I'm just always like,
I'm gonna leave that.
Let me make this mental note.
I'm gonna leave that there.
About 3 podcasts from now, you're gonna bring that point up, and you be like, "You."
Oh no, I'm not. And I'm not gonna bring. Yep. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not touching that.
Who's he married to?
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that at all. Because you know what? Black men will react to me saying it and not you saying it.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave that.
I'm fine with it, because 55%.
I'm gonna leave that. No. I'm saying they won't react to you saying. They'll react to me saying it, because what happens is when black women remark on something that black men did, we're divisive for talking about this shit.
I'm good. I'm calling them out. Listen, I'm upset at all the trash black men who voted for Trump. And why
I'm upset at all the men that voted for Trump.
Exit polls are so high. I do not understand.
I'm upset. I'm upset at all our people, because all our numbers went up. Well, I need to see the final with the mail-ins, but it looked like all our numbers went up. Like every marginalized person's numbers went up. They're like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? I don't want to chalk it up to just higher turnout, period, although maybe that's it. But I genuinely cannot understand. Like, it's one thing if you told me you abstained from voting altogether, which that's a problem in and of itself. And, you know, if you want to holler crime bill, which I ain't never heard nothing about the crime bill in 8 years of Obama being in office. That shit ain't come up till Hillary launched her campaign, when she wasn't even in elected office to vote on the crime bill, although Bernie's signature is right on that bitch. But anyway.
Although people love to forget that, like, it was a lot of black Democrats that wanted the crime bill to go through it.
Every time muggers bring that up, people either don't know, don't show, or don't care about
because
don't care about what was going on in the hood.
Because if you ask black people of that age in the crack academic, they tell you how bad it was, and they said something needs to be done. So then black Democrats went forward and was like, we need something very harsh, something to be done. It turned into the '94 crime bill, and then it happened.
And the sentencing was way too harsh, but the sentencing came from the right. The sentence, the harsh sentencing came from right, and like Biden's spoken about it. So this is the other thing that I don't have country for anymore moving forward. Niggas who just complaining just to be complaining,
because they don't read.
Niggas who want to complain about all the candidates, all the policies, all the options, all the potential outcomes, but you are offering. My new question is, what's the solution? And I'm just going to keep asking y'all, what's the solution? Because most of y'all have no solution. You just got complaints. You are not allowed to give me a grievance anymore unless you have a solution. I am a solution-oriented person. This is how I work. I'm not going to just, you be like, prove, why does this work? Prove to me why no, motherfucker, what would work better since you got so much to say? That's A. B, I'm not doing this revisionist history bullshit with y'all motherfuckers anymore at all. And I'm not doing this whole, again, nothing makes you happy. So, okay, case in point with Biden. Biden has addressed his regret over the crime bill multiple times this year, last year. Yeah, okay, Anita Hill, you're right. Multiple times over this year and last year. First of all, motherfuckers be like, well, he ain't even say nothing. I'd be like, boom, this time, debate, town hall, this mean, that mean. Well, of course he did. He had to. What you want? If he didn't say something, it's a problem. He said something like, of course he did, he had to. What do you want? And the answer's going to be, I want him to never have done it. That is not an option. That shit was 30 fucking years ago.
Too late now.
I'm just saying. So, I'm not doing it with y'all niggas.
And
even white people either. Not doing it with y'all.
And even Anita Hill thing, like, I'm not absolving Joe Biden of that. But
I'm not absolving Joe.
But I vividly remember being in the newsroom the day in Delaware when our entertainment reporter was like, yo, either the press release had just came out or the trailer had just came out for the Anita Hill movie they did. And somebody was trying to get on the phone with Joe's people. And how like uncomfortable he was about it because of the regret he had over it.
Right.
Because if you watch that movie, it was like, yeah.
We also like, not gonna act
Joe was
like
wilding on there, and it was like you.
Joe was wilding, but we also not gonna act like Joe was in his 40s then, right? We also not gonna act like as you look over life and you experience some things and you serve under the first black president of the United States and you experience the Black Lives Matter movement, like a nigga can't evolve from your being 40 something in the fucking early 90s, right? Late 80s to being in your 70s, looking at how the world has changed. I think that that's like, we don't give politicians latitude. Like to me, people who were, again, if you were arguing the crime bill to say, I'm not voting at all, that's one thing. If you were arguing the crime bill to be like, I'm voting for Trump, motherfucking Donald Trump, who 4 years before the crime bill spent $85,000, which is like $1 billion in 2020 money to put out a full-page ad calling for the death penalty of the exonerated five, calling them I want to say like a roving band of criminals, and that, you know, he didn't want to forgive them. He wanted to punish them. He didn't want to understand them, you know,
still hasn't apologized.
Yeah, call him, double down on it even. He said he still thinks they're guilty. Saying that the phrase brutality was shackling the NYPD, like that's your man's. That's still your man's.
And even
right now,
to go back about the Anita Hill thing, this is less about Joe and more about that time frame. Because watching that movie, it took me back to being a little kid and asking questions and trying to understand what was going on. And watching that movie, I vividly remember conversations of adults that I was around, family members at church, of people being like, why is she doing this now? Why is she trying to bring this black man down? This is not the time. We finally got somebody on the Supreme Court.
Somebody who don't do shit for us, by the way.
And it was just like, even black folks then, black women was not holding Anita Hill down.
I remember.
It was bad. It was real bad.
Speaking of which, Clarence Thomas has a white wife. I'm not saying that this supports Carron's theory. I'm not saying this supports Carron's theory. I'm just adding it in there. I'm just adding it in.
Just saying. Y'all start to do the research.
No, I'm just adding it in there as a fact.
Kanye West.
She's not really white though. Like she's not white. I mean, she's white, but she's not white. She's non-black.
Are we doing this right now?
I'm just saying. She's a person of color.
We're doing this? We're doing this?
Anyway. Listen. The Lord heard our cries, unlike these goofy ass white evangelicals.
Remember Jason
who are out
Pitts
here.
from The Game?
I do.
Yep.
Unlike these goofy ass white evangelicals who are trying to call on angels from Africa and South America, like them angels is coming to help yo ass. Who are crying in prayer.
Have been the funniest thing of the last.
Oh my God.
Because I'm just always like, what y'all gonna do when y'all realize that Jesus and God is black? Y'all are going to lose your mind. Oh my God. The afterlife is gonna be comedy, because I'm just gonna be watching their ass like y'all thought, yeah, they're breaking down in prayer, questioning God, but like not questioning God like, Lord help us understand, but questioning God like, what is you doing? And I'm like, excuse me? Mind you, white evangelicals, because I went to a white Lutheran middle school. White evangelicals, when they teach you the Bible, when you get to the book of Exodus and you're talking about leaving Egypt, they teach it in a way of telling the story, but like, these people were so ungrateful and they got this manna and this quail and they had to walk around the wilderness for 40 years just because they couldn't just be thankful. These people could not be thankful.
They stupid.
Now, all of a sudden, he was looking down on these black folks for all these years. And now, all of a sudden, what have you turned into? Because there's nothing pissed white people more off than when they realize they acting like the black people who they tried to look down on. Nothing makes them angry.
I mean, listen, when Trump lost, yeah, there were prayer vigils. It was more like, Lord, give us the strength to make it through whatever's about to happen, because we know, we got
like ballots were just supposed to just magically, like
they really believed this shit
in their minds.
They really believed shit.
The 5 fish and the 2 loaves were going to happen with the ballots. That was going to happen with the ballots. It was going to happen with the ballots.
That's the ballots. The ballots are just going to magically multiply.
Sermon, in the words of Steve Harvey, is the first recorded fish fry. So even the thing that they wanted is still one of the most blackest events that we have on record to ever happen.
And it worked on our behalf, because every time they keep finding more ballots, that shit is us.
Yep.
That shit is us. So I say all that to say, we done made it. Hallelujah.
We made it for now.
Now made it. We still have a lot more work to do.
So much.
We have a lot more to analyze and learn from the past 4 years. And I just really don't think people are taking that part seriously enough, because we almost fucked it up for everybody. We, meaning y'all, not me. I did the right thing. And we still have shit. We've got these runoffs in January. We got midterms coming up. And then we got to figure out who the fuck is coming up in 2024. I really don't think Biden is running for re-election in 2024. I think it's Kamala.
We know.
I know, it's Kamala. But this was a suit-up mission for Biden. Biden basically was like, all right.
And she needs
I ain't running 16.
And
he was like, I ain't running 16.
We know what school she went to.
You think 2 black women could win the ticket? I don't think 2 black women can do it. I don't know if we're ready.
This is why we got to stop doing that. We have to stop.
I know. Okay, you're right.
Do it.
But that means that we have to do even more work over the next 4 years. People, because let me tell you what they're about to do.
This is why, especially when the black person I just discussed got over 800,000 people registered.
You're right.
Can you imagine the?
Let me tell you what they're about to do. They're about to run Nikki Haley in 24.
Okay.
Because they see the girl power situation popping, and they know they can't run another old white man. Nikki Haley's phone is definitely long.
You know what my reaction to that is? You know why I'm so unbothered by Nikki Haley? Because I saw the person who had the best resume in American political history run for president.
And lose.
As a white woman. And white woman said, we did.
That's fair.
I saw Sarah Palin run.
But Sarah Palin was a fucking idiot.
Exactly. Right. Bitch, please. We have seen the best of the best from white women and the worst of the worst. And both times, they have been like, nah, sis. So, the medium and Nikki Haley, I know that these white women will once again be like, nah, sis, because 55% of
voted
them
for Trump again.
Just voted for this clown.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
That wanted and said that he used to, and probably still does, grab them by the pussy.
You're right. You're right.
And has at least 23 open sexual assault and harassment cases still open. But,
wait.
So, Nikki, all you want
speaking of black women, shout out to Letitia James, who is our state attorney general, who is waiting on Trump to leave office.
When she dropped
Sitting,
the NRA deal?
She's sitting, waiting on Trump for both the NRA situation and for inflating his profits, tax statements, and stuff like that. Letitia James is from Brooklyn, and she about to run him just like a girl named Letitia from Brooklyn, and he cannot pardon himself for that.
From the state of New York,
Southern District of New York is waiting.
I watched it.
Yep,
I know about that.
They was waiting. They are waiting. Chuck is waiting.
Black female Chuck Rhodes is waiting.
Chuck Rhodes is waiting on you, Axe. You can't get out of this one. Ain't gonna be no partnerships. Ain't gonna be no alliances, my man. It's about to go down. And also, as a New Yorker, we are so happy that Trump is now a resident of Florida. That like the jubilation here in New York on Saturday was twofold. It was A, this nigga's out of office, but it was B, he's not coming back here. Thanks be to God. So all that said, that wraps my part up for this week. I was happy to come to you guys from a place of celebration and serenity because I was concerned. Carron, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
Look, let's just take the moment to enjoy it. The older I get, the more I'm about enjoying the moments.
We can go into the holidays genuinely thankful.
That's probably why I told you what I told you, even though I don't remember telling you because I was drunk. And I drank. You told me
you were drunk. You did tell me you were drunk.
I drank all of the champagne. So.
Yeah, you told me you were drunk.
I did.
And you told me what you did.
I also did that too. Yes, I did. I did.
It was a sharing moment. So on that note, as always, we thank you guys for being with us. You could be watching and or listening to anything right now, and you are with us. Like, share, subscribe, hit us up on the Twitters, and
don't give that white man your money. And as always, our new ending is
fuck Van Jones. We'll see y'all next week.